be here with you all. This is our 6th week of free online programming, and a lot of these are being recorded by our fabulous producers, Kevin Slee and John Ainsworth, who are then going to be putting everything up online at some point so you all can rewatch them. But we're glad that you're here live because that means that you get to ask your questions to two amazing guests today, both of whom I am a huge fan of, like a gigantic fan. At 5:30 this afternoon, we're going to be joined by Brendan Murphy, who is one of the most amazing directors. I absolutely cannot. Oh, Val, will you grab me that thing that I put on the printer? It just printed out. My notes, we were just jokingly saying if we were live with Kelly and Ryan, I would be very last minute. Val's always very organized. But Brendan Gabriel Murphy is joining us today, this amazing director, and has been a teacher at the Young Actors Theater Camp, which is so incredible, and we're so lucky to have him today. His first feature was Lucky Number, and it's a hysterical film. It's on Amazon. And our first guest today, Jahi Winston, is from so many things, but most notably to me, or most recently notably to me, is Queen and Slim. Holy cow, these are two amazing performances by the people that play Queen and Slim, and yet Jahi steals the movie from them. Like, that's all I can say. I can't give anything away. If you haven't gotten to see it yet, it is a masterclass in acting. I mean, whoa! It just was this amazing ride of a film. So I'm going to gush just a little bit about Jahi, I'm sure, and Brendan. I just can't believe they're both here today. Some announcements before we start on with our interviews. I forgot to say who the winner of the Cover That Song contest was for the first time I fell in love. And congratulations, it was May Roth. So congratulations, May. I'm so sorry that I spaced out on Tuesday Nights Live and completely forgot to say that. May you have multiple packages coming from YATC because you've won so many things and you've been such a good participant. So we'll DM you and find out what you don't have yet, and then we'll get it to you in your sizes. This week's contest is for Fern Fields, the new song that is released from Hell on Earth, a new musical about middle school. And it is called Fern Fields. We have some, because it's the song in the show that an adult would sing now, there actually are a lot of adults that are covering it, which is really cool. So we're going to get to see some really awesome professional singers doing that over the next couple of days. And your entries in the contest, don't worry, the adults don't really win, just the kids win. But you can enter up until Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you still have 4 days to get this done. It'll be so easy. You guys, Katarina M's birthday is today, as well as Francis Capel. Oh my God, Francis and Katarina, happy birthday. We hope that your birthday in quarantine was great. It's also my dear friend Meredith Moore's birthday. She's all the way over in New York City. And it's her birthday as well as Becky Allegretto. I have a lot of friend birthdays today too. And of course, Francis and Katarina are my friends. But it's just so cool that so many people are having plans indoors. And I love seeing what people are doing for their birthdays. Valerie had a birthday last weekend? Weekend before. I honestly, you guys, at this point, I sort of don't know what day it is. It's sort of just all melding together for me, which is great. But we have these interviews. This is our chance to be educated, to be informed, to be inspired. So ask away. Ask your questions. Val is our fabulous producer today, every day. And she's behind the camera taking the questions. So when a guest comes on, you want to ask them a question, ask it away, and we'll get to it as quick as we can. For our very first guest, if he is on, we can invite him. And this is Jahi Winston. I'm so excited to meet him, virtually meet him. Not yet. Okay, he will be on momentarily. But we saw him, I saw him first in Upside with Bryan Cranston and
Kevin Hart.
What's that?
Kevin Hart.
And Kevin Hart, yes. The words come to me. Sometimes they just take longer to come to me. And then loved him in that film. And but a lot of you may have seen him as young Simba in The Lion King on Broadway in these last 10 years.
He just joined.
Oh, great. And let me make sure my sound's up too. I don't know if I turned down.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Jahi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I was just telling the audience before you came on, the minute I saw Queen and Slim's trailer in the theater, I was like, I got to see that. That's absolutely going to be my favorite film. And sure enough, it was. I didn't think anyone would be able to steal a performance from those two actors, but you sure did. You
No.
sure did take that film.
Thank you. Thank you.
Holy cow! So I don't want to give anything away to the audience because I know that there are so many people that are going to want to watch the film after this. But in tackling something that has that emotional intensity behind it, where did you start with that character?
Well, with all of my characters, I try to come from a very real and authentic place.
Mhm.
I try to channel as much authentic and first person, first hand emotion and thoughts and memories as I can in order to bring the character to life. That's a specific method, but I can't remember. It might be Stella. I don't know, but yeah, I do that approach, and I just channeled real anger and real passion for the issues that we were tackling, and as well as anger that had nothing to do with the issues that we were tackling. Just picturing everything that I had resentment for, and just channeling in that moment.
Yeah, well, it was absolutely amazing role, and you did a great job. How
Thanks.
when did you film that movie?
We filmed that February. Well, they started January of 2019, but
Oh, wow.
we filmed that scene February of 2019. Yeah, March.
Wow. So is it sort of hard waiting over a year for it to come out?
Well, the thing about it was Lena Waithe, who wrote the film, she described it as urgent art. So she was very adamant up front that she wanted to shoot it and release it in the same year. So I actually didn't have to wait that long. I mean, it seemed like forever, but we wrapped in March and it came out November. So it wasn't of the same year. So it wasn't that long as it takes for other films. But yeah, at the time it seemed like a really long time, but it wasn't that long.
Oh, it's so cool, and I'm so glad that it's on demand right now. So like everyone watching can go and watch
Yeah,
it who hasn't seen it yet.
it's really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Tell us about the start of your career, because I know that you started quite young. How old were you when you got into the business?
I was 10 years old.
Oh my gosh! And was that with your first professional?
Yes, that was my first professional anything that I'd ever done. I'd just gone to an open casting call for um, Disney's Lion King, the national tour and Broadway production, and they were looking for young Simbas and young Nalas, and there were about 500 kids there at that one audition, and I went in and I auditioned, and I got called back, and then got called back again, and called back another time to go to New York. And then I did a final audition in New York, and then I ended up hearing that I had gotten the role of young Simba in the Broadway production of The Lion King. Yeah, a few days later, yeah.
Wow! And did your family move? Did you have to move? Obviously, you had to move to New York, but did your family move to New York?
We were sort of, we went bi-coastal, but it was just my mom and I. We went to New York, stayed in a tiny shoebox apartment in New York, in Manhattan, and my family, my dad, my brother, my sister, they stayed down here in Atlanta.
Wow, that's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What an amazing experience for such a young person to just like dive into being on Broadway and living in New York all of a sudden. It's
Yeah.
quite a
It
change.
was beautiful.
And how long did you do the show on Broadway?
I did the show for 15 months, so a little over a year, from
Wow.
December of 2014 to March of 2016.
Okay, okay. And when you do a role at that age that's that intense, do you switch off with another actor or do you play it 8 times a week?
Yeah, so labor laws are just the theater rules, and when it comes to theater, minors have to split the roles. So we had two young Simbas and two young Nalas. We would do 4 shows each uh, throughout the week, unless one of us went on vacation. Uh, then we would have to do all 8 shows for the other person. So it was fun, but hard work. But when you're a kid, you just see everything as an adventure. So I
Yeah.
enjoyed every moment of it, and I tried to learn and soak in as much as I could during that experience. It was a dream come true. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. We just got a question from Jahi X Smile. What is your favorite part about acting?
Hi, Jahi, X Smile. My favorite part about acting, I'd say my favorite part about acting is just the imaginative piece of it. It's all
Yeah.
supposed to be imagination. It's all supposed to be fun, but also grounded in authenticity. And I think everything is nuanced and has duality, and acting is all about nuance and uh, not being able to categorize it as one thing. So that's the biggest thing I love about acting, that it's very multifaceted, and that it's all about imagination and all about channeling real fears and real emotion into imagination. And so, yeah, that's my favorite thing that I love about it.
Well, and you do it so, I mean, I don't mean to harp on like the believability of you as an actor, but you really forget when you're watching you on screen, you completely forget you're watching an actor. It's like, you're so believable. So the authenticity and the grounding really actually, obviously it works.
Thank you so much.
Where'd you get the, this question comes in from Shaquara, where did you get the initial instinct to become an actor? What made you want to become an actor?
Hi, Shakira. Just the lifelong dream. I've always had a dream of. It's always been what I wanted to do, to be an entertainer. Um, I like to think of myself as an entertainer who acts, sings, dances. I don't really like to categorize myself as one thing. So I always had a dream of being an entertainer, and I just wanted to follow that path. And before Tyler Perry and all of the big heavyweights were here in Atlanta, I would go on auditions and nothing would really come of them. And so I just stayed diligent and stayed a regular kid until Lion King came up. But I wasn't anticipating it. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So it wasn't a challenge for me to dive into it, because I was ready when the opportunity presented itself. Because I had been wanting to do it for my entire life.
Well, that's awesome. One of the things at Young Actors Theater Camp that we talk about is, you can focus on acting, or you can focus on singing, dancing, improv, writing, but really in this new world, we all sort of have to learn how to be the best artists we can be, and not just for sake of having versatility, but also for the ability to be able to find inspiration. So like I always tell my students, like, get to a museum, look at paintings, figure out how that makes you feel, and there's so many different things that can inspire. What inspires you? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I draw my inspiration from life. I think whenever I'm going through a challenging time, whether it be a disappointment, some kind of personal rejection, immediately I get this spiritual instinct to want to create, and inspiration just immediately strikes within me. And I don't even know what I'm going to create, or if it's going to be music, if it's going to be a script, if I'm going to want to learn a monologue or start dancing. I don't know what it is, but it always happens right after a major milestone, a negative milestone happens in my life.
Yeah.
So I would say that's really my biggest inspiration. I feel most inspired to create when I've hit some sort of personal roadblock, what feels like a personal roadblock.
Wow, that's great. So pulling the inspiration from just what you're going through, that's incredible. So this year at the Sundance Film Festival, you had a film that was very well received. In fact, it won an award. And I don't know anything about the film yet. I haven't gotten a chance to see it, because I'm assuming it's not out yet. But tell us about it.
Charm City Kings, the movie is called Charm City Kings. It stars myself, along with Meek Mill, Tiana Paris, Kazai Curtis, and Danielle Hansley. And it's directed by Angel Manuel Soto, a brilliant director. And it's about a young 14-year-old kid named Mouse, who's growing up in West Baltimore City. And it's basically his coming of age story, and it's about his fascination with motorcycles, but specifically a motorcycle group in the city called the Midnight Click. And it's just about his journey navigating through life in Baltimore, but it's really a simple story about a boy who's in love with motorcycles and finds so much meaning and depth in motorcycles, that mixed with the just the regular pitfalls and day-to-day adventures of his life growing up in a marginalized and impoverished neighborhood in West Baltimore City. It's just about his coming of age story, and it's about him sort of becoming a man too soon. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And when does that come out? Do they have a release date yet?
Well, it was slated to come out April 17th nationwide, but
Oh,
due
okay.
to, of course, the outbreak uh, of that's going around the world, we were not able to follow through with that. So I'm not sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, they'll push it a little bit. But I always find that the end of the summer films are it sort of slows down tremendously, and we're looking for great stuff. So I have a feeling this year, like August, September, October, the movie theaters are going to not just be jam-packed, they're going to be jammed with like great films. I can't wait to see that one. We have some more questions that came in. Fly Guy underscore Flack 0 says, "What steps can one take to become an actor?" Oh, it's, just if you can line it out for us. How do you get your first professional job at 10 years old?
Well, there are many ways. I don't think that there's just one way, but I think some steps that you can take. You can definitely try to enlist in some online classes or some in-person acting classes. There's also community theater as a big thing. Just getting yourself out there and really uh, exercising your instrument as an actor is really important. Uh, Consistently doing that is really good too. Finding monologues online. Basically, the best and the biggest and the most pivotal thing I can say is just the way you become an actor is to act. You act, whether it's on screen or on stage or in your mirror. An actor is going to act the same way an artist, a painter is going to paint, whether his piece is in the Louvre or in his bedroom above his bed. It's you just have to do it. So there's no specific way. You just have to act, find monologues, watch a lot of movies, study cinema, study theater, really read a lot of plays. Just any way that you can find to be creative and use your instrument as an actor is the best advice that I can give.
Yeah, that is literally, I give that advice to students all the time where I'm like, a dancer would never just wake up one morning and be like, I'm gonna go dance Swan Lake. You know, they would get up every day and they would learn it, rehearse it, stretch, dance other dances to where they could do Swan Lake eventually.
Yeah.
But somehow a lot of actors get to the place of like, oh, I have this audition, I'll just wing it. You know, I have the script. And you're like, no, there's so much opportunity to put so much of your art form onto the page. And I feel like if all actors had the same discipline that painters or dancers do, you know, it elevates it. And I love the way you phrase it, like, if you have to act, you will act. Like, you get out there and do it. That's a great answer. It's Mani says, from your acting experience now, what advice would you give your younger self? That's a good question.
What advice would I give my younger self, my younger actor self? I would just tell him to continue to be a student to the craft. Piggybacking off of my answer prior, when I was younger, all I did was watch movies, and after I would watch the movie, I would research every facet, every piece of the movie that made it to what it was, and made it become what it was. So I would just tell him to continue to do everything that he's doing. Maybe even more so, just continue to study, be a student. You have to be a student. You have to be attentive, because I think what a lot of people forget or take for granted is that while it is imaginative and while it is an adventure, acting should be, uh, it's a craft. It's a craft that goes back centuries and decades. So you have to be a student of it and be attentive to the world in which you're stepping into. So I would say just continue to study and continue to dream bigger, and whatever you think you're supposed to have, just shoot even past that, or whatever you think is possible, dream beyond that, because it's all possible, you know? So yeah, that's what I said.
Great, Jahi, you should write a book. You're very inspirational. I like all these things you're saying. Another question from Jahi X Smile says, when you do an emotional scene, is it hard to get out of that mentally? Is it hard after that to get out of the scene?
Sometimes. I can recall a scene that I had to do on Charm City Kings. Obviously, I won't go too deep into the context of the scene because I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen the movie. But there was an emotional scene that I had to do that I was really upset about because it didn't go in the way in which I wanted it to go. You know, I just didn't feel like I was really reaching my full potential as an artist in that moment. And so once they moved on from that scene, and once Angel, our director, said that he had gotten it, and I felt like I didn't quite get it, I felt really disappointed, and I sort of had a private, secluded meltdown in my trailer because I was like, no, you know, it's that in itself is sort of similar to when Serena Williams or LeBron James has a bad game or a bad match. Like when you feel like you have not reached your full potential, when you feel like you have not played the best that you can in that game or in that match, there's a defeat that comes with that. And so it's great to sit in that as an artist, but for a second, but you have to combat that, and you have to uh, shoot and try even harder the next time, the next scene, and be more attentive, like I said, and be more of a student for that next scene, for that next moment, so that you don't disparage it in any way. And just know that it's human. Like it's just human. You're gonna have a bad game. You're gonna have a bad scene. You're gonna have just bad moments, or just moments where you don't feel like you've reached your full potential. But even the late great Kobe had games where Black Mamba just didn't show up. So it's so it's okay. You know, don't be too hard on yourself. And so that's a really sound piece of advice I think that I can give to just when those moments come, be patient and be show a lot of compassion towards yourself. But to answer the question, yes, sometimes it's very hard to disassociate from the character in the moment, for me personally.
I can only imagine in the work that I've seen you do there, a couple roles that I think would have taken a long time. Leah Subs asks, to be an actor, do you have to be a natural, or is it something that you can practice at to get better? And that sort of leads into what I was going to ask as well about your process. You know, are you spending weeks and weeks preparing? Are you someone who likes to memorize and then let everything happen on set? What's your process like in terms of pre-shooting preparation?
My process is really one of spontaneity. I do read. I think the method is Stanislavski, but I could be wrong. But it's really just reading the script over and over and over again to get a sense of who your character is, the story you're telling, and how my character fits and assimilates into this big piece, whatever it may be, and to really get a solid understanding of what his intention is, and who I am portraying and who I am embodying. So I mean, there's more than one way you can do it. I think do whatever feels right for you. I think a lot of people will try to have you stick to one thing. You know, there are different methods that you can use. Like there's something called the character biography. It's literally just typing out everything about your character before they're in the script. So for instance, with the character, it's what's his birthday, what's his favorite color, where is he from, what's his favorite food, what's all of these things really help you give a more, like I said, authentic and more grounded and full and complex picture of who this person is. And so that can work. But then when I do that, and then I get on set and then I just throw it all out. Like I just, because it's about the moment. Acting is about the moment. So all of that stuff is useful and it can be useful, but I think just staying in the moment is the biggest piece of advice that I can give.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once it was Stanislavski that basically said you learn it to forget it. So you do all of that amazing character work and then you put it all away and show up. Yeah. Because it's not like if I, as a human being, show up to the grocery store, I'm not necessarily going through like, what day was I born? What's my favorite meal? Maybe if I'm a grocery store it is. But you got to kind of throw all that stuff back. So
you have to. You have to. Viola Davis said something, and I think she was sort of quoting Stanislavski in a way, but she said, "You do all of that work, and then you leave yourself alone. You don't continue to pick apart. You know, you just got to leave it alone." And I think that's the biggest piece about it. And sometimes it can be hard to leave yourself alone when other people won't leave you alone. It's like they keep coming up to you and bothering you. And what do you think? It's like, I just need space to just be and to just create without having to think too much about it. I overthink enough in my personal life. And so I really try to just be in the moment when it comes to my art, because that's how I create the best product possible.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was I literally when Kevin Slee, one of our producers, told me that you were coming on today, I was just like, from Queen and Slim? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'll try not to gush the entire time. But I hope everyone who has parents who will let them watch something that has a very important message and a little bit of violence in it, but it is so monumental, this film. And Jahi, your performance is unbelievable.
Thank you
really
so much.
Spectacular.
Thank you.
It was really great to talk to you, and I hope you stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, see you.
Thanks, Jahi. Bye. Oh my gosh, you guys. That was Jahi Winston of Queen and Slim. Like I said, if you're happenings that we all need to be aware of, and this story is so important. You guys are going to love it. And of course, if you're looking for something on the lighter side, upside with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston, Jahi is spectacular in that film as well. And as well as the new film, Charm City Kings, which we'll be looking for at the end of the summer. I can't wait to see it. I couldn't get a ticket to it at Sundance. I waited, but I couldn't get a ticket. It was the hot film of Sundance, and they won the Best Ensemble Award, which is so cool. So proud of their ensemble. That's like amazing. And next up, you guys, we have a fabulous director who happens to be a friend of mine, so it's a little easier to interview him. But he is just so, he's just a really wonderful human being, and he's phenomenal at his job. If you guys get a chance on Amazon Prime right now, Lucky Number is a feature film that you would love to see. It's so wonderful. And he also happens to have directed the after show with the cast of NBC's drama This Is Us. Yeah, so he's at the after show of This Is Us, which is amazing too. Yeah, we were at the premiere of Lucky Number. Yeah, we were. Valerie's reminded me I was at the premiere. I knew I saw it. I didn't remember I saw it at the premiere. I didn't mean to make myself sound so fancy there. And he's just an amazing guy. He's one of the things I love about Brendan is that he's very, you know how they say in show business, like, it's who you know? And that kind of sounds cheesy in some ways, where you're like, oh, so I just have to pretend to like a lot of people I don't know. No, that's not it. It's about creating a community of artists, and Brendan really does that. So I'm excited to have him on. Is he joining us? Oh, yay! Look, I'm so on time, Brendan. How dare I? Sorry, if you need a couple more minutes, Brendan, let us know. I'll stall because I did get there 2 minutes earlier. Tomorrow night, you guys, at 7 o'clock, we have from Beetlejuice, Kim Sava, and from Wicked, Jennifer Denoya. Hi, Brendan. How are you?
How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. You know,
you look great.
Thank you. You do as well.
I've resigned myself to hats because there's just no way to contain what's going on under here. It's not possible anymore.
I know. I'm blonde now, so.
Yeah. I've tried several. I did look in the mirror several times and almost contemplate giving the razor to someone and saying, just take it all off. I'm like, no. Maybe not so much.
Well, I'm married to a hairstylist, so yeah, I'm her guinea pig, so she gets to experiment on me when.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense because I was going to be like, it definitely looks like you were in hair and makeup today.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. I've just we've been doing 5 weeks of online programming now, so we've just been talking to a bunch of amazing artists and staying inspired, staying creative, and just keeping the work going. How about you? What are you doing to stay active?
Well, yeah, just staying sane and creative. You know, that's all you really can do. So, I'm blessed to have my cat just jumped on the bed here. I'm blessed to have a studio out back where I paint. I've been painting a lot. I've been writing a lot. So I just I have calls every other day with my writing partners, writing a new drama for television. So that's been a lot of fun. I just finished another script, thriller. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And we're also, I've been shooting a little bit here and there, which has been fun, So I used my wife one day. I had all my props from all my films and different short films, and I was like, hey, let's shoot a music video in the house. So couple lights, and some fog machines, and made it look like I was on some soundstage.
That's amazing. I mean, I know we all have the equipment, but we all don't have the talent that you and your wife have. That's so cool that you both have all that amazing ability to keep things going. That's so cool.
I get bored very easily, so I always have to be doing something, you know, especially when it's like Groundhog Day and it's the same day every day. You just got to keep yourself, you know, creative and fun, and just enjoy life, you know.
Now, did you paint the background? Did you paint what's behind you?
Yes, I did. That's
that's so cool. That's
most
awesome. I've never. My mom is a visual artist. She does watercolor mostly, and I always thought that maybe it would like catch on. But the only time I really wanted to do it was I went to the community center, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and took a drawing class with a live model. And, you know, it was like a rotating class. So a lot of these people had been in the class 3 and 4 years, and, you know, they were experts at this. And I literally had never taken any sort of art class, probably since like the 5th grade. And so I'm just like sketching and like, okay, I guess I've seen this in movies. I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. And I had the proper materials. And the teacher let me alone the first day. And then the second day he came over to me and he's like, so do you want to like learn how to do this, or what, like what's the goal? And I was like, actually, I'm totally honest with you, the goal is to just have an art form that I don't have to be perfect at or even good at. Could I just do something for sheer fun? Like what would that look like? What would that feel like? Because I think art, you know, is definitely one of those things where sometimes we suck as artists, we get sucked in by the perfection mode.
There's no right way or wrong way. I mean, I didn't go to art school. You know, I went to film school and just picked up later on, and it all the arts are just intermeshed with one another, you know? So it's all just creative outlets. So just something fun to do. And, you know, I don't even know if, you know, can't say that you're good or you're bad. It's all subjective anyway. So just as long as you do it, so it's just something to keep you creative, and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah, you bring up a really good point. When I'm coaching actors or directing actors on set, and I know that a lot of times actors get into the mindset of good and bad. You know, like, was that good? Was that bad? Should I do it again? Do you want it another way? And what I always like to coach my actors on is like, well, what worked for you and what didn't work for you and why? And then let's manipulate those things to where you're going to get the performance that makes you satisfied before you come to the table and play with everyone else. How do you handle on sets, you know, specifically, or even maybe in rehearsals before, how do you handle actors who kind of fall into the good-bad mindset?
Well, you know, the thing is, every actor is very different. And the thing is, I come from an acting background, so I've been acting since I was a little boy. So just having that background, starting off on the stage and just getting to experience being, you know, in front of a live audience and doing that, you know, day in and day out, that was an incredible feeling. But not every actor comes from the theater or from the stage. A lot of actors just go directly on camera and do on-camera classes. So each actor is different. Theater actors, I feel like, they have a completely different type of training, which is, I think, a very positive thing, because you just know that when you get out there, all eyes are on you at that moment. But when you're on camera, you know you have your opportunity to be able to do it again and again. So I tell every actor, if you can, at least get into a acting class where you can, you know, just work on your craft and at least get out there and do scene studies and do some improv and just get in front of people and just act, because that helps immensely. And if you can do a play, go do a play. Even if it's a small play, I think that's going to help wonders. So like most of my favorite actors that I admire, they all started, you know, in the theater. And, you know, it's the Pacinos of the world, you know, and James Dean, and those guys were all theater actors, and they honed their craft, and then they brought that to film. So not saying you have to do that, but I feel like it's a positive, and you can definitely benefit from it. So every actor is completely different. It all depends. So when I get on set, whether it's a film or it's even a promo or a commercial, music video, short film, you just kind of got to feel each other out. see what everyone's comfortable with, and then from there, you got to build the trust. That's the thing about being a director, building the trust with your talent. And once you build the trust, that's when you guys can start exploring different things. You can go down different roads. You know, I tell everybody, let's go down the rabbit hole together. And but that's the thing is, once you build that trust, you know, the options are endless, and there's so much beauty that can come from a performance. And the thing is, an actor has to trust you, but you also have to trust the actor. But the thing I love about it is that once you build that trust, you want to make sure that the actor feels comfortable that they get to do their thing as well. You want to make sure they do their take. You know, give them their take. You know, if they are very adamant about doing something a certain way, you know what? Let them do it. But if you're a director and you see something differently, you go ahead and you get your take as well. You find the happy medium, you make it work, because honestly, when it comes to film or any other project that's on television, or, you know, streaming or whatever, it's all going to be made in the editing room anyway. So you're not going to know what's going to play into, you know, the next cut or the music. And so you find the rhythm in the edit anyway. So on set, there's that dynamic, but once you get into the edit, you know, so many things change, and that's the fun thing about it. It makes it more exciting because you go in there with a specific vision, but then the film just kind of starts taking a life of its own, and it becomes this beautiful art piece at the end.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of beautiful art pieces, Lucky Number is amazing. And are we watching that right now on Amazon or Amazon Prime?
Yeah, Lucky Number is a comedy I did a few years ago in New York City, and we shot that with Method Man and Tom Pelfrey, who's now on the new season of Ozark.
Yeah.
He plays Laura Linney's brother. He's incredible on it this season. Just killed it. That show is one of the best shows on television.
We're still on season, Val and I are on season 1.
You're going to be addicted. It's so well done.
Okay.
Every character, all the writing, it's just the twists and turns. Such a well done show. But Tom comes on season 3. He starred in our film Lucky Number. He's had a great career. He was on Banshee as well on Cinemax. And then it starred Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan, who's had a wonderful career as well. He's on The Deuce, and he's all over TV and films and Trainwreck, and just the guy's career. And he's still rapping and doing all his music as well. And so that film lives on Amazon Prime forever. And I've been focused on my next project. So I'm focusing on a thriller. You know, I have 2 right now. So I'm leaning towards one more so than the other. So once we come out of this quarantine, I'm really going to be focusing on hopefully getting that project running and off the ground. And, you know, Shiloh Fernandez and I have been talking about doing something for a while. So we're looking to do something again. It's been a while. I know you had him on recently.
Yeah, I to this day, like when people, you know, because I love horror movies, I love any sort of thriller. I literally ingest every single thriller that is released. Even if it's not released in the cinema, I find it. I just think it's such an interesting, it's just such an interesting thing you can do to your audience that you can't do in a lot of other film. And I always have told Shiloh, even though I know it's not one of his favorite performances, that Evil Dead to me, and it was way before I knew him, just watching him in that film, I was like, how did you just do that? Like, how are you Pacino in an average horror film? Like, how did this happen that way? So it would be so cool to see you guys work together and do a thriller. That's actually what Marissa Crouch was just asking. At Marissa Crouch, thank you. It's like we read your mind, but she was asking about your next project. We also have another question from Patricia K. Thompson. How old were you when you first appeared on stage, and what did you perform in? Oh.
I think I was 8, and I was the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The good old days. That was fun, though. I can't lie.
I mean, that really, honestly, that first performing, you know, it really does. It lights people up inside. And I'm always so cautious with Young Actors Theater Camp, you know, when kids come and the very first thing they perform for each other is skit night. And I'm like, I want to make sure that audience is so receptive for every single one of those kids, because in a lot of cases, it's their first time, and it can be very intimidating, you know, to step up on stage. I got to do, my dad's a professional rodeo cowboy, and my very first performance was as a rodeo clown. The 2 main clowns asked me to do like this little vaudeville skit with them. in between for rodeo acts. And so here I was as like, I think I was almost just 6, and I made $5, and it was like for 5,000 people in Pocatello, Idaho. And I heard that laughter and that applause, and I was like, yeah, and I get paid for this? Like, I'm in. So those first performances are so important. If you, a question that someone asked Jahi before, which I thought was so interesting, if you could go back in time and give advice to the younger version of yourself, in terms of, you know, not just in terms of the business, but, you know, in terms of you yourself as an artist, what advice would you give younger Brendan?
Well, I don't know. It just, I'd probably let everyone know, you know, or let myself know that, hey, this is, the industry is going to be changing rapidly during your time as a director. Like streaming, YouTube, social media, this wasn't around when I was in film school. None of that existed, you know. So, and also, you know, nonlinear editing was just starting to, you know, come about, and like that's just changed everything. So, I would have been like, I don't know, just do more skits with your friends, shoot more. I don't know. I mean, yeah. It's so hard to go back and think about what I would say to myself as a younger version of myself, because that's the beauty of becoming an artist, is that you're growing and you're learning, and each step of the way, it's something, another curveball gets thrown at you, and it's just like, wow, okay, this is part of the process. This is what is going to make me the person that I am one day, and hopefully give me a clearer vision of how I see myself as a director and as a filmmaker, and the stories that I want to tell. So that question always gets me, because I love the journey part of it. I'm more of a journey. So I think that's an easier question for an actor, a more difficult question for sure. But yeah, that the journey is the best part, growing, and just, you know, and you can't regret and look back at a project and be like, oh, I hated that, or why did I do that? No, it's a stepping stone. You keep learning. And then just dealing with actors and talent, and being, you know, learning from each actor you do it, and how different each one is, and their process, and just you know, that's just such a beautiful part of entertainment.
Yes, absolutely. A person we've never heard of, Kevin M. Slee, asks how digital and streaming has changed your job specifically. What changes have you seen, and how has the adaptation happened in careers?
It's changed immensely. You know, more films are now going straight to streaming than in the movie theaters. Less people going to theater, more people staying at home. So that's changed drastically from where we used to only look at film as a medium that you would go into the theater, and that'd be, you know, then you come home, you buy the DVD, the Blu-ray. Now there's going right to streaming, which I think is a beautiful thing, because that opens up more avenues. Now the films can be seen in more platforms. So there's negatives and positives of both. But it used to be that, oh, well, not more people are going to see it in the theater. Well, not necessarily anymore. Look at us all now. We are all, you know, self-reliant on streaming. Disney Plus, Netflix, that's our life right now. We are more than ever. You can just look at the stock market. You see Netflix stock is through the roof. That's what people crave. So I'm just adapting, and I think that we all have to adapt. Actors, directors, writers, and just jump on board and just see where this train is all going to take us. But either way, these streaming services are starving for content, which is great for filmmakers and artists and writers. So that means for us, you know, we're stuck here in quarantine. This is the time to be sitting down, putting the pen to paper, writing, creating, and getting ready, because they're going to be running out of content soon, and we got to be the one to come forward and present this, and get our stories told, and let our voices be heard. So no better time than now. We all have the time, you know, even if you're working from home, I know you still have time. So
it's very true. Yeah, we can definitely. I can tell you, I've watched Tiger King twice, so there's no. Have you seen that one yet?
Oh yeah, we streamed it the day it came out.
I'm not even a reality show person, but I think like what a lot of people don't understand about the way that came together was that the Tiger King had hired the man to come live on his property and film everything, and that man owned the rights to everything. So it was literally like, well, no wonder it's the world's best documentary. The footage is insanely wonderful. Like, you have footage of everything.
They're already saying they have enough footage for a whole nother season.
Oh,
that's how much.
I would hands down watch it. It's insane. The only sad part about it is it's actually people's lives, you know, and they're quite dysfunctional. But it's an interesting story. It's a very interesting story, and it's really one of the only reality things other than documentary that I've watched. And then I just watched one last night, Circus of Books, which is a very interesting story, and a really cool documentary. Really cool. So in terms of, I know we have a lot of actors on, and you know, actors are definitely about their process and bringing it to the room. What are some of the things that you see work when actors come in to audition for you, or, you know, when you're watching tape of people or seeing people in film? What are some of the standout qualities you know, that make an actor pop for you?
I don't even care about the sides or the dialogue when an actor comes in auditions. Because everybody, if you're just sitting there and you're concentrating about the lines and stuff, you get really nervous, and it's not about that. It's more about getting your personality across or becoming the character. So it's half personality, half, you know, owning the character. So just coming in and owning it and going off page and going off the cusp, like, I love that. So that's to me is what I find, you know, most appealing when I'm in an audition with an actor. So.
Yeah, those magic moments where they really can, you know, learn everything and then forget it and just come into the relationship.
Exactly, because they can work the dialogue and all that can be worked out later, you know. It's a nerve-wracking process, you know. You go in there, there's just people just sitting there. The auditioning process for actors it's brutal. It really is, and you know, I try to make an actor feel as comfortable as possible because I've been on that other side. I know what it's like. So having been on that other side, I have some compassion for actors, whereas most casting directors, they don't have a lot of compassion, especially when you're seeing hundreds of people a day. So you just feel for the person on the other side and just be open. And but you want someone just to shine. You want to see their personality. I mean, one of the best auditions I ever saw was from a buddy of mine who's a stand-up comic who's had a lot of success. His name's Dino Archie. I brought him in to audition for Lucky Number. We actually flew him in from Canada to come in, and he killed that audition. His personality, all of it, he just owned it, and I was just like, I wanted him to be in the film so bad, and it became a whole, you know, big discussion with the producers and everything, and it was a tough one, you know, because it would have been his big break at the time. But you know, I knew from there that he had a huge career, and now he's gone off and he's just killing it. I'm so proud of him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love when actors come in and they kind of, you know, they've done the work, they know who the character is, they know obviously what their objective in the scene is, but then they put it on the relationship. And I always think that, especially in film and TV audition, it really sells so much more. It's so much more believable when you can see that it's not about me as an actor, but it's about the relationship that I'm having in the scene with the other person. And if I can glom onto that relationship, it really just, I think the scene can just blossom, and the audition usually soars from that point forward. I think a lot of actors get caught up on character.
And you know, I see somebody right now. The actor needs to have fun. Yeah, the actor needs to have fun. The whole reason why you want to be an actor is because you have passion for this, and it is fun. You get to play different characters. There's nothing more romantic and sexy and crazy than becoming someone else and getting paid for it. It is an amazing job, and that is, you know. But getting to that point, yes, the audition process is very nerve-wracking. But the thing is, it's just like, you know, just have a good time. You know, the thing is, if you bomb an audition, you're just gonna have another one anyway. You know, and you'll kill it on the next one. You know, don't take it and don't take it to heart. There's so many jobs out there. There's so many different roles. You know, your time is coming. It's all about persistence. Until you get it. And that's, you know, pretty much the best advice I can give for anyone. If you want it bad enough, It'll be yours. It's just up to you and how hard you want to work and how bad you want to, you want success.
Yeah. Well, you've given us so much to think about today, so many inspiring thoughts. Thank you so much for being on. I know that Shiloh just jumped on, and I can't wait to see you guys work together. That would be, another project together. That would be so awesome.
You guys are doing this because, it's, I know that with camp right now, everybody's home, and, you guys put on such an amazing camp. By the way, anyone who's in California or anywhere in the country, you got to look at these guys and what they're doing. I mean, their camp is incredible. I've been up there twice. I've gone to work with the kids. I've gone to make films with the kids. It's very hands-on. They get amazing talent, filmmakers, actors, one-on-one, hands-on experience with people in the industry. And these two have been doing this for a very long time. They're both professionals as well. And I can't say more about what you guys are doing and inspiring kids. Theater camp is awesome. It's awesome. Go out there, do it. Have a great time. Thanks for having me.
So much. That means a lot. That means a lot to us. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
And stay safe. Tell your wife we said hi. She's on. Oh, good. Oh, good. And let us know if there's anything you need from us, because we're one big community together, as you taught us.
Exactly. Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it.
We'll see you soon.
Hey, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that's Brendan Gabriel Murphy, and everyone should definitely check out Lucky Number. It's on Amazon Prime, so you can rent it for like $2 or whatever. We're all in need of content right now. We need to see things, and Lucky Number is an amazing film that you're going to love. And I'm so proud of today. Like, two amazing guests, one in front of the camera, one behind mostly, and they gave us so much to think about. Literally, my head is sort of swimming with all the ideas that we just got to ingest over the last hour. So if you took good notes, go back over them. Figure out what you're going to do to implement those notes into your work. And if you didn't get to see the whole thing, don't worry, this will be live for 24 hours. So thank you to Jahi Winston, and thank you to Brendan Murphy. Tomorrow on the show, we have two Broadway divas. Kim Sava from Beetlejuice. What? Kim Sava? And Jennifer Denoya, who Jennifer was Elphaba. I think she just closed on Broadway in February before Lindsay Pierce came on as Elphaba. But Jennifer Denoya has been Elphaba more than anyone else. That's right. In over 4 countries, 7 companies, just like amazing. From Broadway to London, everywhere in between. Jennifer Denoya is so insanely talented. And those are our 2 amazing masterclass teachers tomorrow night, Friday, April 24th at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, you guys, we have a very special Zoom masterclass. So tomorrow's going to be on Instagram like this. But then on Saturday, we're actually going to move over to Zoom for a 2-hour masterclass with singing superstar coach, Natalie Weiss. She's coached everyone. If you haven't gotten to see the video of her coaching Catherine McPhee, she coached Catherine McPhee. I mean, it's like Catherine McPhee Foster now. But she's just an amazing vocal coach, and she has so many little simple tricks that she's learned over the years that she incorporates into her teaching. So it really is for people of all levels. I want to stress that again. You do need to be able to like sing do re mi fa sol la ti do, or I didn't even do that right. So sing that better than I did. But we're going to learn how to break down the riffs. It's going to be amazing. It's all ages. So Young Actors Theater Camp is definitely ages 8 to 18. But these workshops, you guys, I'm not kicking you off Instagram because you're 102 years old. Congratulations to you, 102-year-old person who learned how to use Instagram Live. But anyone can join, so let's all be artists together. I'm going to be on the class, on Saturday, not as a moderator, but just actually as a student, because I want to learn how to do Mama, it's amazing what baking can do. Ooh. See, there's a way to do that, not weird like me where I had to like, Natalie can teach us how to do that stuff. And that is a registration-based workshop, so you go to CampYATC.com to register. And then to also tell you guys really quickly before we run out of time, that each week we have been doing a new contest where if you learn a new song from Hell on Earth, a new musical about middle school, I know the title, you can enter with a piece of the song. And what you win is the possibility to come to camp for free. Yes, we're going to draw one lucky winner who gets to come to camp for free. So make sure that if you want to enter that contest, you do so, because this week the song is Fern Fields. Now, Fern Fields is a song in the show that is sung by an adult, but anyone can sing it. In fact, in 2 of the productions, it was sung by kids still, and in the most recent production, it was sung by me, which you can see on YouTube if you really want to. My voice was totally hoarse that day, but I still love the song. Michael Sobey and I wrote the musical. Michael Sobey wrote the music, and I wrote the lyrics, and we're so proud of it. So if you want to go give that a listen, go over to campyatc.com/sheetmusic. If you are a fan of Frank Mills from Hair, that song Frank Mills, you'll love Fern Fields. It's really not similar, but sort of the same idea. So we love you guys. We hope that you have a fabulous night with your families tonight. Do something good. Maybe do the dishes without being asked. Vacuum. What? Your mom will probably fall over. She won't even know what's happening. Or maybe make dinner. What? You make dinner. If you're a good cook. If you're a bad cook, maybe just do the dishes. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for our amazing Diva Masterclass with Kim Saba and Jennifer Denoyan.